We're live. Hey, everyone. It's Nikki with That Homeschool Life, bringing you real, honest, and practical homeschooling stuff. In today's broadcast, we are going to do a quick flip through, walkthrough through Writing and Rhetoric's Book 3, Narrative 2. So, for those of you who don't know, if you do become a subscriber to this channel, you don't have to be a subscriber, but if you come to the channel regularly, I do put a poll out every now and then asking what you want to see me do a review on. And in the last poll, you guys spoke, and the third top rated curriculum that you guys wanted to see was Writing and Rhetoric, right here. So we're going to go through this. Now, I want you to know that I'm going to be making 2 of these reviews. One of them will be my 10-minute express version, where it's pre-recorded and I go straight through all of the topics that I like to cover when I do a review. That's price, key features, pros, cons, teacher involvement, and then my conclusion. Okay, so about 6 topics. Sometimes I might add in, or categories, I might add in another one. And then I will have the live video where I take your questions. Okay, so I'm kind of doing it backwards. What I really want to do, and I'll do this moving forward, I'll do the 10-minute express so you can just see what the curriculum looks like, and then you can form your questions. And then when I go live, you'll have more information to ask more nuanced questions about what I'm showing you. So I'm going to let a couple of you guys come on in. I didn't do any blast to Twitter or Instagram. I didn't even tell you guys I was coming on, but I did say I would be live at 3 o'clock Pacific time all this week, except for Friday because my son has a game, last home game. So we're going to jump right in, but as you do come in, please let everyone in the family know where you are coming from. You can tell us your city, your state, your country, your hemisphere, what spot in the galaxy, the Milky Way galaxy you come from. All right, so let's get going. What's up, Danielle? You early, girl. And just so you know, for this week, this time is only for this week, and then I'm going to change it up because I know for some people it's harder for them to get in, and this was really all I could do for this week, and then I'll change up the time going forward, not next week but going forward. All right, so what are we doing here? What are we talking about now? I have done at least 2 videos on Writing and Rhetoric for book 1, which is Fable, and you guys know I love it, and I show you how I use it in addition to the review. So I'll probably have 3 videos for every curriculum that I show: the express version, a live version, and then how I use that curriculum. So let me flip the book, let me flip the camera, and I'm going to just take you guys through this. Now I have to say, look, we have some furniture coming in. It's been months with all this backlog because of the supply chain. So I got a lot of curriculum that's under the stairs, but I got a lot of stuff that's pushed up against the stairs because I'm waiting for this furniture. So all I was able to find was my teacher's edition. But the teacher's edition is exactly like the student edition with just some little extra stuff on the side. So you won't be missing anything without the student edition. But in the next video on this, I will have the student edition. Hey, Jess, it's good to see you. I'm gonna be in contact with you real soon. So I'm going to flip the camera, and hopefully nothing breaks when I do that. And then we're going to get started with, I look like a boy. Oh my gosh. All my hair is back here. My Astros are playing right now. They're playing the Boston Red Sox. So I'm trying to represent H-Town. And no, we are not H-Town. Well, H-Town, they're not cheating. Everybody cheats. They just got caught. All right. So representing my Astros. All right. So let me flip this doggone camera. See what we got here. All right. Boom. All right. Here we go. I liked how that just happened. All right. So let me show you. All right. So we are talking about, let me move this out of the way. Writing and Rhetoric, Book 3, Narrative 2. All right, hold on. I need more light here, guys. Hold on. Let me adjust the lighting here so you guys can see. Hold on. Let me adjust it so you guys can see. Hopefully that's better. Oh, all right. All right. Hopefully that's better. All right. If the glare is too much, just let me know and I'll adjust. Okay. So this is book 3. I did skip book 2 because that's in the cabinet as well. So this is the second part of narratives. So book 2 talks about narrative 1. Book 3 is a further work into narrative writing. All right, let me get. Don't worry, guys. I have my other camera that I'm going to hook up for the next review. All right, so this is your table of contents. You have, let me just move this out the way. You have 12 lessons. I'm sorry, 11 lessons, okay? 11 lessons. Now, with these books, oh, I'm sorry, price. Okay, so here's the thing. You have 2 books, right? You have the teacher book, and then you have the student book that looks just like this. There is also an optional audio CD that comes with this. Now, the audio CD runs about $8, and the audio CD reads all of the stories because you have lots of stories in here. You have lots of stories. You might not want to read all them stories, okay? Your kid might not want to read it, but you have an audio version, so you can have it read to your child. One, your child can just listen to it in the car, just moving around or whatever, or your child can just, maybe they're young, a little on the younger side, or a reluctant reader, they can just follow along as they're listening to the audio book. That's what I recommend. That way they can associate the word with the pronunciation, okay? So you have the audio book, you have the CDs. They run about $8. The teacher book is the same as the student book. They cost about $17 on rainbowresource.com, which is where I get the bulk of my curriculum if I can't get it elsewhere. So right now it's $17. If you get both of them as a bundle, it's like $32 for both books, the teacher book and the student book. And yes, you have to get the teacher book. Now, you know, I tell you when you don't need that mug, but you do. And I'm going to show you why. Boom, right here. All of your dictations have, so whenever you see the gray part, that's the teacher component. Everything else is the student part. So this is basically the student book with just little gray boxes for the teacher. If you watch my review on Grammar Island, it's kind of the same setup, okay? So nothing fundamentally different. But you need the teacher book just for the dictation, okay? And then for some other things as well. But just to let you know how crucial it is, the dictation part is in every lesson. So that's why you need to get the teacher book. Okay. Now, so you have your, let's start at the top, your typical teaching week. Now with writing and rhetoric, it is billed as a very flexible 4-day program. So you can get in and out, 4 days out the week teaching this. Now, if you go back to my first video on book 1, you show how I break that down even further. Okay, so I'm not going to belabor the point here until I do how I use it. But in the beginning of the book, they give you an idea of how you can use this. Okay, day 1, what you do, day 2, and day 3, and day 4. So they don't leave you in the lurch. They tell you these are the things that you can do. Okay, I got a mad shadow on here. I give up. I sound like my kid. He's doing math. I give up. All right, get rid of that shadow. All right, now let's move on. So look at me. I'm organized, but I'm not organized. Hold on. I was supposed to put price up here. Y'all, I'm failing. I'm failing. All right. So y'all got the price, right? Y'all got the price. It's $8 for the CDs, $17 a piece for each book. Okay. That's the price. Now, let's move on to the key features. So 4 days a week, So you can, on the 4th day, if you want to do some more grammar, although grammar is included in this, it is more of a supplement. It is not a full grammar curriculum. So if you wanted to bring in more grammar, you can bring it in on day 5, and that's how you want to chop this up, okay? Another key feature is, well, hold on, let me put this back on my face for a second, just so I can tell you some things. Okay. So the nuts and bolts. Okay. So when you look at the back of the book, sorry guys. When you look at the back of the book, you see all of these boxes, right? You see all of these boxes. Let me let it focus, okay? And for each book, it gives you a grade range, okay? Now, you can take that with a grain of salt, okay? The red box will tell you where you are, okay, in the hierarchy of all of these books, okay? And by the way, there are 12 books in this series. Now, this says this is geared toward 3rd grade and 4th grade, okay? Now, if you go back to my other video, I tell you how, you can chop that up. I had an older child use this and a younger child, okay? And for an older child, if you have an older child, maybe they might be strong with their writing, but you didn't like their program they were using, or maybe they just need some more help for whatever reason. But say if they're like in 5th grade, 6th, whatever, you can still start here. As a matter of fact, the program does recommend for an older child to start with narratives right here. Narrative, the second part, okay? So depending on the age of your child and the maturity of your child, that will determine which book that you choose, okay? So this is just a guideline of 3rd and 4th grade, okay? Also, the difference between book 2 and book 1, narrative 1, which is book 2, is that you're going to be doing some highlighting and outlining, okay? They're really going to start pushing the outlining in this book. And in my how to use this, I'm going to show you how you can supplement the outlining for this book, okay? I don't really like how they do the outlining for fictional reading, okay? So in another video, I'm going to show you how you can flip that up, okay? Now, also in narrative 2, it's more reading. The reading passages are longer. So let me flip the camera and show you what that looks like, okay? Does anyone have any questions so far? Any questions about this so far? Okay. All right. Hey, Lily. Okay. So, all right. So we got, okay. So okay. Now, once you, okay. So once you look through here, you'll see that after the 3rd lesson, you start going into the outlining. Okay. This is the main difference between book 2 and book 3. You're starting the outlining. Oh, hold on. I got to turn this off. Okay. All right. So you start going into the outlining. Now, if you'll look here, you'll see that all the stories, these are short stories, most of them, that you're going to be outlining, it's all fiction, okay? It's all narratives. Now, that's fine, but I had to supplement with other kinds of outlining, because when you're outlining a narrative, some things can get a little subjective, and my child kind of struggled with trying to decide what was an important event, and just in the hierarchy of doing an outline. So that's why I had to bring in some supplements, okay? And then you start getting into your story beginnings. You start getting more into the plot, which is more of a key feature for book 2. I'm sorry, for book 3, narrative 2, okay? You start talking about the protagonist, okay? You're going to start doing more in-depth character analysis in book 3, okay? And you start looking at the, here we go. You're going to be doing work on the antagonist, okay? And then you're going to move into historical narratives, okay? So when you're looking at the work that you're doing narratives on, they're great works of writing or short stories, things like that. Now, if your child is, okay, my child around lesson 8 started to get a little burnt out from the reading, because it's all like that Greco-Roman kind of stuff. And my child just wanted a different kind of story, which is one reason why I brought in other kinds of works to outline, okay, just to change it up, okay? And then you get into the 5 W's, and then as you're starting to wind down for the semester or the year, your child will start to write their own narratives, historical fiction, and then they'll have like it's like imitation and writing. You do a lot of reading of great works as an imitation of writing, which is really what the backbone of writing and rhetoric is. Okay, it's imitation of writing. All right. So now that we've gone through that, let's look and see what the first lesson looks like. And then, further, also at the beginning of the book, they talk about the projem and, more. Hold on. Y'all can see that? Just more information for you to read, They talk about each section of the book. They talk about what it means, okay? So if you are new to writing and rhetoric, you'll learn about the chapter stories, the narrations, the talk it back, the go deeper, the writing time. These are all different sections in every single lesson, okay? And all 11 lessons, they have this, okay? One thing to note, of course, I knew this without even needing to read this. You don't have to tackle all the writing exercises in this chapter. So whenever you see a clock, what do you call it? A time stop? A stopwatch. Whenever you see one of these little stopwatches, you'll know that you could, skip that and not worry about missing anything important. So these are all the icons. Also here, zoom it in. You have the outline icon. Okay. For this one, you can decide whether to do oral narration or outlining. This is the first that this starts to happen in book 3. Now, here's the difference. Now, let me put my face on this when I talk to y'all about this, because I find this is very crucial. Some of you guys have asked me about working memory, okay, especially if you have, children on the spectrum or just special needs, ADHD, basically everybody in the world. Our working memory is short because everything is done for us. Speed dialing, Alexa, Google, all of that is done for us. We don't have to remember long lines of numbers anymore because it's done for us. That has weakened everyone's memory in this entire world. Now, when you see that icon to decide whether to do narration or outlining, I recommend alternating between the two or doing both, but not on the same day. I'm always going to go with oral narration because I'm always trying to stretch my child's working memory. Working memory is just how much you can store information that you're intaking, okay, that you're receiving. How much of that can you retain, okay? And the outlining works to reinforce story structure, okay? So if you're outlining, that means, and you do it in a way that is in alignment with the story, that tells me that you're able to keep a structure in place with clear sequences and maybe bringing in keywords or vocabulary and just knowing the hierarchy of the story, the beginning, the middle, and the end, and then all the little nuances in between. So you don't need to do that for every narration. So you can decide to just go back and forth between each lesson doing that, or if you're very ambitious, you can do both, okay? But maybe not on the same day, okay? Maybe on the 5th day if you want to do that. So any questions so far? Any questions so far? Let's see. Oh, a lot of people came in. Rachel, what's up? What does the CD do? I have this program, but not the CD. I should have brought that doggone CD up here. Hey, Jack. Oh, the door is closed. So anyway, the CD just has all the stories that are in the book. It's on the CD. And every now and then there might be, I've heard some exercises read. I've only used it just for the stories. So what I do, so every lesson has a story. It has what the lesson's going to be about, and then it has the story. Let me show you. And so let me flip it so you can see it. Let me flip it. Hey, Mona. Okay, so I was asked, what does the CD do? Okay, so you see here. Okay, all right, guys. So you see here, let me pull this back. So you see here, it says lesson 1, right? Lesson 1. And, oh, hold on, I'm trying to go. Okay. Hold on. I got to turn my volume down on that one. Okay. So each lesson starts off with what the lesson is going to be about, right? Now, after you get the lesson, and this one is kind of a little long lesson because it's the beginning of the book. So this is a lot. But you're going to have, not the first lesson. They don't start the story with the first lesson. Let me get to the second one. Okay, let's see if they start the stories here. Hold on, y'all. Oh, okay, maybe it's 3. Okay, okay. So lesson 3, you have the frog and the ox. Now this is a very short story. No big deal. But actually, you know what? The CD does have some of this stuff still. They still talk about it. I just don't remember what parts. I've only used it for the stories, but it definitely has something for lesson 1 and lesson 2. So I'm thinking they're probably reading all of these different types of narratives, okay? But we use it for the narration because as you get further in, the stories get longer, like much longer. And you have, sometimes you'll have multiple stories, okay? You see there's 3 stories back to back. The 3 little pigs, the fable of the stomach, and then Androclus and the lion, okay? And there are even longer stories. Here's another one. We're just in one lesson right here. This is lesson 4. It's a lot of readings, a lot of stories, okay? So that's what, look at this one, the 5th labor of Hercules. This is a, more now, and also the reading selections are all kind of in the same vein. I guess we're just going to go over the readings really quickly. This, the readings are all kind of in the same vein. They're Greek based. Hold on, can y'all see that? They're Greek based. They're, it's ancient stuff. So you're not getting modern day reading, that's for sure, okay? And for some kids, they might like it. And for other kids, they just might want a break and they might want to read something else, okay? So let me show you the next stories, okay? I'm sorry about the camera, guys. I do have another camera that's sitting over here on my desk, but I'm working with what I know how to use right now. Okay, maybe I just move this. Oh, wait a minute. Does that work? Let's see. All right, hopefully that's a little bit better. Okay, so the Brahmin, the tiger, and the jackal. Okay, so you're seeing, I want you to kind of get a feel for the types of stories that your child is going to be narrating and outlining. This one is a little bit longer. So if you don't want to read this, pull out that audio. Okay, it goes on. And you don't have to read this all in one sitting or in one day. You can span it out, okay? Remember, make it work for you, all right? And then you're going to start seeing how you do the outlining for this, okay? All right, so I'll just show you a couple more stories just so you get the idea, okay? Just so you get the idea. Julius Caesar and the pirates. Now, writing and rhetoric is a classically based curriculum. So it's going to be a lot of that living writing, great works and things like that. So not only are you going to be doing a lot of reading from that time period, you'll be looking at artwork and decoding that. Okay. Let me just show you about one more story. The Great Fire in Rome. Okay. So if you like the program, but you don't want to do all of those kinds of readings, swap it out. Swap it out. The destruction of Pompeii. Okay. So I'm showing you these stories for a reason, just so you kind of get a gist of Zenobia, Queen of Palmyra, however you say that. Okay. All right. So let me go back to the beginning. Now, the pro to this is that your child will learn, especially as they get older and they want to do standardized tests. Your child is going to know the difference between a fable, historical fiction, proverbs, what else? It's like so many different types. Non-narratives, narratives. They'll know the difference between that. They'll also know, hold on, because they do cover this. Because there's so many different kinds of writing. And it's at the beginning. I didn't see it. Maybe that was in book 2. Anyway, but they are going, it's such a great foundation for when they move up to the stage of rhetoric. Okay, well, that's like the final stage. You have the grammar stage, the logic stage. Grammar stage is like your elementary stage. Logic is your middle school stage, and your rhetoric is your high school stage. So all of this, it might seem tedious, but it's really incrementally setting the stones, building that foundation for rhetoric when it comes. Okay. So, okay. Yeah. So they're going to know fables, parables, fairy tales, history, myth, ballads. They're going to know all those differences. And let me tell you, my child actually kept struggling with the difference between history and myth. Now, here's the thing. Story of the World, which is a history curriculum. One of my main gripes about Story of the World, especially the first volume, is that they intertwined myth with history. And so I didn't like that, because if your child was reading that and didn't really know, or have someone pointed out, they would think a lot of these mythical characters really existed in history. And that wasn't the case. All right. So any questions so far? Any questions? All right. So let's go back to here. Is there anything you want to see in the book? You're also going to be doing a lot of dialogue. Okay, let me just choose one lesson and then we'll just go through that. Let me go to lesson 3. Lesson 3. Oh, I am on lesson 3. You're still doing summarizing and amplification for book 3. That doesn't go away, but let's just go through a week, okay? So you got lesson 3, a refresher on fables, okay? A refresher on fables. So you're going to start with your parable. You're going to read it. Your child's going to read it. And then what you do, your child narrates it back to you. Okay. This is your working memory. Okay. So this is what all the sections in the book, I would do 2 sections a day. So I would do tell it back, narration, and then talk about it. And depending on the lesson, the talk about it will have a picture or something attached. And then you can kind of decode that and talk about it a little bit more. This one, it just has go deeper. Now, in this book, I do this the next day, just because it's outlining. Remember how I said you can switch? So if you want to do both, do your narration up here, and then the next day you can do your outlining for this. Okay, so you can play around with it. And then you have the rest of the go deeper, where you're going to do a little bit of dictionary work, where your vocabulary. Okay, so I know some families, they'll skip parts of go deeper, but go deeper actually helps you to it helps you to get a better understanding of vocabulary. So you're not having to memorize a whole list of words. You're kind of learning the roots and the basis and the how and why, so you can decode and understand the meaning of all kinds of words without having to memorize them. Okay. So I wouldn't skip those a lot as you get further into the book series, just because this is really going to help you with your vocabulary, your child's vocabulary. Okay. And then the next day, boom, you can do your writing time. Writing time is always going to include dictation, sentence play. Not always. because usually you'll have copy work, but this lesson doesn't have copy work. I think it alternates between lessons. But here's your dictation. It doesn't look like a lot right now, but baby, it revs up, and it includes a lot of tricky punctuation, because remember, this dictation, if I can get it to focus. Here, let me just do this. The dictation is taken from great works of writing. I'm sorry, guys. This is great works of writing. And so it's just the sentence structures are a little bit more sophisticated. So your child, focus. Okay. I was not having this problem yesterday. All right. It is what it is. I hope y'all can see that. Okay. So there's your dictation. Nothing crazy, just one sentence, but I'm going to show you how it revs up. And then you go into sentence play. I actually really like sentence play. Why? Because sentence play shows your child how you can take one sentence, flip it, chop it up, turn it around, reverse it, and still get the same meaning. So don't skimp on sentence play. It really shows you how you can manipulate your sentences. And as a plus, when you're able to rearrange a sentence, if you're doing well-ordered language, the grammar program, that's it's by Classical Academic Press. When you start doing diagramming or just analyzing a sentence and all the parts of speech or phrases and clauses, these work together perfectly. Then you start to get meaning to what you're doing when you're analyzing a sentence, okay? So sentence play, just think it pairs very well with well-ordered language, which is the grammar program from Classical Academic Press, who published this book as well, okay? Just so you see, Classical Academic Press. They published this book and well-ordered language. Okay, so now you got that, and then you have copiousness. And copiousness is just another way of saying you about to put some work in, okay? It's the work. Literally, it's the work, okay? And what that looks like, there's a lot of grammar in it, but not enough to be a full grammar program, guys. It's not enough for a full grammar program, but it will complement your grammar program, especially if you're using well-ordered language, okay? And then again, with the teacher edition, everything you see in gray. All right, maybe let me turn my light. Let me do something, make it better for you guys. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to get rid of this shadow. Tomorrow, I'm just going to flip how I'm sitting so the light's behind me so there's no shadow here. All right, so, and then you have your summary, okay? And that's where, when you summarize, that's the clearest indication that your child understands what he or she read, okay? So nothing big about that. Now, as I switch back to me, because I want to get rid of this, like I is all bootlegged up. And I got two big cameras. I got a Nikon and I got a Hue over here, but I'm rocking with this little webcam. Okay. So I just want you guys to see what that looks like, okay? Any questions so far? I'm about to move to the outlining, okay? I'm at 33 minutes. Okay, I want to kind of move along. Okay, Muna says, how do you use it for those who struggle with it? Muna, I'm going to make a separate video, and my child will probably kill me, but I'm going to make a separate video how I use this, and I'm going to show you how I break it down, because in my son's book, I still have marks of, do this today, stop, and I'll show you how I break it down, and then where I'll show you what lesson where we stopped, and then we went to beginning outlines, which I did a video on, and we did outline something different, because honestly, when I looked through this, when you're doing outlining, it's very hard to do it with narratives, with fiction, because it's all subjective, right? If you're doing an outline on something informative, right? it's very easy. It's very clear cut to kind of see how all the pieces mesh or come together. But with a story, besides knowing beginning, middle, and end, when you have to decide what's important, what's really not important, those are judgment calls. And then especially when you're dealing with these lofty writing samples, everything to my son seemed important because you're talking about the Greeks, the Romans, the fires, the gods, all of that. So everything seemed important to him. So I had to take him out of that and show him how to decide what's important. But we had to first start looking at examples and just informative writing, and then generalize that with the narrative writing. So I need a whole separate video to show you how I use that, because that was paramount. And let me tell you, outlining is so crucial to your writing. So I wanted to make sure his foundation was rock solid. So according to the publisher, these books are put together to be used every semester. Okay, so each book is a semester. Okay, when I used this, we went past the semester because I took longer to get through it. And then when we were using this book, it took longer than a semester because we put this away for about almost a month, and we did narratives. I mean, we did outlines, we did informational outlines and other kinds of outlines. And then we came back to this. We would do actually some of the grammar and the dictation and stuff, but we didn't touch the outlines. So we did do a little bit of the other elements in the book, but we didn't touch the outlines. And then once he felt comfortable grasping and outlining, then we went back, and then he can kind of see, okay, now I get it. Okay. So sometimes you have to remove yourself from something and come back with fresh eyes and information so you can see the forest for the trees. That's a great question. Hey, Lori coming in from Illinois. Muna says, how do you deal with the long story and the short memory problem? I have a video coming up on that because I have drills, I have activities, and I actually have some printables that I made for my son that helps with expanding or exercising your working memory. And what goes with your working memory is your processing speed. So when you're receiving this information, say you're receiving 100% of information, right? But you only hold 30% of that information. Now, once you get that information, it's all in storage. How do you express it? How do you use it? How do you act upon it? That's your speed. So when someone's asking you a question, hopefully you get the gist of the whole conversation or the question, and then how do you respond to that? It might take you a little bit to kind of process what the person said or asked you before you respond. Okay. With dictation, it's a great way to not only work your expansion of the storage memory, but if your child has a question, because they just got a dose of information. So while they're holding that information in their head, like my son asked me, can you repeat the first part with the punctuation? So not only is he trying to hold all that information, he's trying to also process it and respond to me to get more information to help him out. There's more to it for processing, but that's how it was working when we were doing dictation. How much of that information can you hold? And then once you hold it, how do you synthesize it and then spit out what you need from that information based off of that information? Okay, so it's information input, all in your head, processing, like on your computer when it says processing, that's the processing. Okay, I understood what you said. Now let me respond to it. That's a whole video. That'll probably be a long video. It'll probably be like a 3 or 4 part series because there are different levels to that. Okay, that's a great question. All right. Outlining. Okay, I need to get going on this because I have to take my kid to karate soon. All right, so let's go back to outlining. Okay, so this is, see my messy room. Okay, this is the outlining part. So 4 lessons in, you really start to get into the outlining, okay? Which is what this book is really all about. All right? And see, now look, you're outlining the 3 little pigs. as my camera will just focus. Y'all, how come my camera was fine yesterday? It's doing all this nonsense. All right, so the 3 little pigs, okay? And if you look closely at it, you'll see how they outline it, okay? And that's, that was a little introduction. And then they give you another story, and then you start to do the outlining. So, number one, I didn't think they gave enough examples for how to do the outline. It was like, nothing. It was, and then your turn. So I didn't think it was enough to, and then the reading was, it was a lot to get through. It's really wordy. If you look at the page, that's a lot. That's a lot of information. Oh, this is getting on my nerves. It's a lot of information, So my son didn't like that. All right. And then when it was his turn, it was just trying to go back and, you got vocabulary, plebeians, patricians, things like that. So, he was getting a lot of sensory input from just the story, and then he had to turn around and do the outline. Okay. Now, he eventually got over that, but it took some time. And then you go right into this. So I didn't think it was enough work for the child to get it before you went into a longer story and then a longer outline. Okay? It's a longer outline. Okay, and I remember when we did this. I remember this page. I was like, okay, we're gonna give it one more try. That we're gonna switch it up into something. And then it was too wordy for my son. Okay. And then we just went off on our own. Okay. So you're going to be practicing outlining, dictionary skills, some of your grammar work, summarizing. You know what? Let me just use my other camera. All right, let me just use my other camera because I'm sorry, the shadow is annoying me, and I want you guys to have a better view. All right, so you're doing all of that. But let me tell you, this is geared. Oh, even that's not focusing. You see that? All right. I might have to redo this live. But you see, this is for grades 4 and 5. And it might seem a little advanced because of the quality of the writing, and the writing gets longer, and then you're having to work on your own with not that much direction. I didn't feel it gave that much direction, okay? But once we got past that, the outlining part, we were good, okay? We were good. But I definitely had to supplement that. Let me just take you toward the end of the book, okay? As they're wrapping it up. Any questions so far, guys? Okay. Okay. All right. So trying to decide how I want to do this because I don't like my other camera. All right. So this is lesson 10, right? There are 11 lessons in this book. All right. So things start to look a little different. You're getting prepped for book 4, the Crea, which y'all know I do not like. Okay. And of course, it starts off with a story. This one is Saint George and the Dragon, or Saint George. Okay. And now they're starting to present the stories a little differently. Okay. Just present it a little differently. You see all that? So if your child gets overloaded by a busy page or something, then I would just, back in the days, I'm a woman of a particular age, and I used to always read the paper, 2 different kinds of paper, sometimes 3 every day since college. And I would do trifolds on my papers. Okay. But for your child, so they don't have to see all the text, you can do, just do a bifold. I can't do it. Okay. Easier said than done, huh? It keeps popping out. Okay. Well, when your child has their student book, it's been open a whole bunch of times, so it's kind of, the spine is not so bad. But anyway, you're going to fold the papers up so they just focus on one passage at a time, and then you'll take a piece of white paper, which I don't, here we go. Let me show you. Now, I didn't have this problem with my son, but I know some kids, too much text makes them anxious. So blank piece of paper, and then just fold it, okay? Put a blank piece of paper right here. Okay, this is an old trick, okay? So if you have a child that has learning issues or sensory issues and too much text is an issue, do that so they're not having to read everything, okay? You don't want to overwhelm them. All right, let me get back over here. Okay, let's see. All right, so where was I? All right, so the writing gets, a little revved up, and then your narrations. Remember, you can do an oral narration, or you can do an outline. Okay, there you go. So pick your battles. Pick your battles. Okay, I know that probably looked really bad. Let me see if I can flip it on my camera one more time. Let me flip it one more time for you guys, just so you can see what it starts to look like. Now, for those of you, because there is a lot of writing and stuff, if you want to do this for a 6th grader, that's totally fine. Maybe if I turn it up like this. Okay, that's better. I'm contorted. So that's your sample outline. Read that, guys. Look at that outline. Okay. Well, now I'm blurry, but you get the point. So if you want to just stick with the oral part, you're fine. Do that. Do that. All right. Okay, more sentence play, copiousness. I go into more detail in book 1 on what every section means and what to do. So I won't spend that much time. And that's it. Okay. That's really it. And then you have your last lesson where you're writing your own story. Okay. But first you got to read about a story. Okay. This is the story of the Romans. Okay. And I just want you to see the types of stories here, okay? Your child is going to be exposed to a lot of ancient stuff, and it's fine. But you want to make sure you get some balance with that, okay? Now, here is my con with, and in this lesson, they go through the whole process of putting your story together, coming up, developing your characters, creating your characters, occupation of your character, adjectives for your character. They do help you with that. But it's in the vein of writing about Romans, okay? And in the back, they just have a glossary, okay? All right. And then here, I never use this. I don't do any grading and stuff like that. That's not my thing. And, boom. And that's it. All right. So let me put it back on me. I'll take some questions and then we will wrap it up. Now, my con. This is my con. The pros, basically the pros are like the key features for me. But the con is they don't go into great detail on how to really do outlining. They really don't. They don't explain to you how to determine if an event is important and where it goes in the hierarchy on the outline. They don't do a good job doing that, I don't think. Also, the stories are still really the same. It's still in that vein of Greek and Roman situations. So I'm like, ancient world, you got ancient China, you got ancient India, you got a lot of ancient places all around the world that you can draw from. So, or you don't have to use ancient, maybe move up to the Renaissance. So I would have liked to have seen more variation in the types of stories presented. And then my third con is they tell you what to write, like in lesson 11, where you're building or writing your own story. They give you, it's like, when your kids are young and they're so picky about their clothes, it takes you forever to get them dressed. So you decide, okay, well, I'm just going to give them 3 choices, and then you lay out their outfits. So in their mind, they get to choose, but in actuality, you've chosen for them. You just narrowed down their choices. So they didn't really get to choose because they didn't have the full menu to choose from. They just had the appetizer menu to choose from. I got a lot of choices. There you go. So they give you all these choices, but you still have to write about Romans or the Roman time. So I'm like, no, because if your child's into Transformers, horses, whatever your child is into, let them write about that. So they kind of just stronghold you into this one type of writing, which I'm like, not every child is like that. You are a very good writing program, but let the child have some creativity and take what they're learning from the book and apply it in different scenarios. Okay. So that was my main gripe. Okay. Now they come around, with the other things that I really like, but my cons, you can fix. Okay. You remember, you're not going to have. Did you get everything you wanted out of your husband or wife or boyfriend or whatever? I didn't. I know y'all probably didn't either. So there are things you just compromise on, and then you just adjust, and then you realize, oh, it wasn't that bad. The alternative I came up with is actually better. So yeah, so I'm not going to get everything I want, but those are the 3 main cons, and there are workarounds for that. All right. Teacher involvement. If you or your child are new to writing and rhetoric, your teacher involvement is going to be high. You got dictation, you got narration, and you got to be present for those 2 things. The rest of the stuff, is independent. The copiousness, the copy work, the sentence play, all of that your child can do on his or her own. The stories, if you don't want to read the stories, you can get the audiobook, or your child can read the stories. So if you have other kids you're teaching, then you can take 5 minutes to go over what the lesson is, and then they read the story off on their own. And then if you want them to write down their narration, or if they want to record it on a phone or any kind of recording device, if you're still working with another child, they can tell back the story. And then, or if your child has a fairly good memory, they can go and finish doing some other things in the book and then come back to you later and tell back the story, like maybe 10, 15, 20 minutes later. So you can make it independent. Also, if you want to front load the teacher involvement on the first day, do the narration and the dictation. And then the rest of the days, they can do the independent work. Okay. So those are ways you can chop it up, flip it up, snack it up, flip it up. You can make that work for you. Any questions or comments? So let me ask, does anyone have this curriculum, like book 3? I know a lot of you have like the Fable. Let's see. Let's see. Okay. Rachel. Hey, Rachel, what did you supplement with? Oh, so for this, it's called Beginning Outline. Let me try to find it. Hey, Malibu. I have I'm in the process of moving all of my curriculum in here. That's why my office is a hot mess. Let me go in here and pull it up because I bought it off of Amazon. It's called, wait, can y'all see? Okay, no, you can't see it. Okay, beginning outlining. Here we go. So okay, let me hide this because it's showing. Okay, I'm just trying to hide my Amazon information. All right, I'm going to show my screen and I'm going to show you what it looks like. Oh, darn, it shows my name and my zip code off on the side. All right, so let me, oh, I know what I can do. Let me flip it. Hold on, guys. I'm going to flip this and I'm going to show you. Okay, let me make sure. Hold on. Wait. Oh, let me go back. Hold on. Oh, I'm on here. Okay. Oh shoot, I can't do it. I'm gonna end up showing all my information. So anyway, it's oh wait, I just camera here. My bad. Hold on. I'm gonna help you out. I'm gonna help you out. Let me just do this. I'll just do this. All right, this is what it looks like. Y'all see that? Oh, I gotta flip cameras. Turn it. I gotta flip the camera. Wait, hold on. Let me flip the camera. Camera flip. Wait, why is it not showing? Okay, got that. And it should be showing everything. Why is it just showing my... Oh, okay. I forgot there's a delay on here. All right. So that's what it looks like. Wait. Oh, darn, such a long delay. There you go. Beginning outlining. All right. Hope you can see that. I do a review on that. I do a review on that. Okay. But beginning outlining. Wait, I didn't do a review on the outlining book. It was part of another review. So I'll do that. I'll put that in the work. So I'll probably do that next week. Okay, any other questions? And I'm going to get out of here. It's just under an hour. Dang, I am so long-winded. I promise I can get this stuff done in 10 minutes. But okay, no more questions. Okay, so it's a very good program. Just some things you want to supplement with. And every curriculum I've had to supplement with something, even for a lesson or a concept. So that's no big deal. Don't let that deter you. Okay. Remember, everything is customized. You want a bespoke education. You know, bespoke is not off the rack. It is custom made to the 10th degree. So, and that can sound overwhelming to some people. But there are hacks to get around that. Okay. Sometimes the all for one is more work for you. Okay. And sometimes if you just put the work in the beginning, it pays off dividends later on. So don't be put off by that. Try to find things to make it easier for you. Okay. I definitely recommend that. And I say all this to say, because writing along with math seems to be the two biggest potholes for students in America, and it doesn't have to be. I actually have something I want to share with you guys next week. Something that I bought. I got it today, and I'm very excited about it. And my son was actually watching me play around with it on my laptop, and he was like, "Oh, can I try that when I'm done with this this writing book?" I was like, "Oh, really?" He's like, "Yeah." And sometimes you got to follow your child. We say some people want child-led education, but we don't really know what that means. And it means, when you're married to an idea or curriculum or an ideology, and then your offspring is not, you have to go on faith and follow your child and honor their truth and their curiosity. So that's what we're doing. Look, oh my God, it's my second child who's just like going off the farm. So I don't know. Lost connection. Please repeat the name. The name for the book, the outlining book. Is that the name you're asking about, Malibu? It's called Beginning Outlining. Just type in Beginning Outlining on Amazon, and the the cover. Let me pull it back up. the cover, and they have 2 books. One book is grades 3rd through 5th, and then I'm sorry, 3rd and 4th, and then the second book is 5th grade and up. So on the cover is like the ocean with a treasure chest, and it's got a yellow outline, a yellow border on the side. Okay, it's called Beginning Outlining. Okay, and it's, oh, how much was it? How much was that? And it is $6.99. So $7. $7 for that, if that's what you were looking for. Okay. Okay. Any more questions? So I don't know when, but I will be doing a review on book 2 of Writing and Rhetoric. And I'm going to do book 4. You know, I don't like book 4, but some people might want book 4, or they might want to see what it's about so they can make a decision. So I'm going to be doing, I'll probably pre-record those. But I'm going to do all the books in the series, although I haven't done all the books yet. We're at 6, almost 7, really. So we'll see. I can't even speak. I'll also be doing more science reviews and math reviews. And I've got a big one on Stacey Lloyd on all of her literature guides. I got about, I think, 16 of her stuff. I just have to staple everything. I got to pay my kids to like staple and bind all of the literature guides. So that's coming up. That's going to be really, really fun. And I got more stuff. I got so much stuff, y'all. I just feel like I want to record this all and get it off my chest so I can maybe give stuff away. Maybe I should do giveaways after I do like my final review. Maybe I should just do some giveaways. All my stuff is in good condition, or you know, some things you just have to erase, and that's not a big deal if it's free, you know. So we'll see. I'm just thinking out loud. So I'm gonna get out of here. And oh shoot, it's 4:12. My son has karate at 4:30. So thank you guys for staying with me. Please like this video so we can get pushed out to YouTube and we can grow our family, and share this video. Okay, if you know someone who is looking at curriculum, please go ahead and share that with him. Mona, you have book 2? Yeah, the first narrative. Yes, I like that one. Okay. Could you skip book 3 if you're done with book 2, if you're deciding what to do? I wouldn't. I would at least do the first 6 lessons. You don't even have to do the whole doggone book. You know, if you feel your child is grasping outlining, do the first 5 or 6 lessons, or choose 5 or 6 lessons out of the book. You'll get enough experience to know how to do outlining, at least narrative outlining, but definitely do the supplement. If you want, you can just do the supplement, do the first couple lessons, get that little $7 supplement book, and then maybe do 1 lesson or 2 lessons after that just to see how it transfers from the $7 book to that book, and then bounce and go to the next book. You don't have to sit around and wallow, and you don't have to do everything. If you're finding your child's kind of getting it, move on. Life is too short. They got it. Move on. But leave a bookmark or a little Post-it note and write where you stopped. So if you want to come back a couple of weeks later as like a spiral or review, then you know where you would know, because everything else would be blank because you hadn't done it yet. But anyway, you know, those are just ways you can just, you know, chop everything up and make it work for you. You ain't got to do everything. Don't stress you out, you and your child out. You know, they're going to get it. They're going to get it. All right. So any more questions? I'm going to get out of here. Love these reviews. Thank you. Oh, you're welcome, Rachel. I'm happy to help you guys. And we will be starting book 3 in the beginning of next year. Okay, good. So you got plenty of time. If you want to get that CD, if you want to just, you know, look through it yourself or get that beginning outlining book. But I'll definitely have the video out on the beginning outlining for 3rd and 4th grade and then 5th grade and up, 2 different books. Actually, you only need 1, because when I looked at them, they are identical. I'm like, look at them trying to make some money. They didn't even try to change up the wording. I'm going to show y'all. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do that real soon. I'm going to show you how those books are exactly the same. So it doesn't matter which outlining book you get. They are identical. Okay. So do that. Make sure you have that when you start the book in at the beginning of the year, and then you're good to go. Okay. Once you can get that outlining concept down, boom, go do something else. Okay. All right, guys. As always, I appreciate you guys giving me all of your time, an hour. You know how we do. Um, but I appreciate it. I don't take you for granted, and thank you for giving me your time. For some of you in the middle of the day. I love you guys. I will see you tomorrow. I'll probably be a little bit later because my kids have Spanish for the next 2 weeks at 3 o'clock. So I'll put up the time. This time I will give at least a 1 hour warning. I don't know what time yet. But we'll be live Thursday, but not Friday. Okay. I'll make it up. Probably what's my son's birthday weekend this weekend, so I probably won't go live, but I'll see how I feel. All right, guys. But I will see you tomorrow. Thursday. I will see you tomorrow. Time to be determined. All right. Peace.